experienced or is older or however you may see it.
Mm-hmm.
And pose those same questions to that person and see what feedback you get, because it may surprise you that they have more experience or they may be more knowledgeable and there may be something that you don't know.
And that's true.
And that could actually lead to growth.
Yeah.
And that could lead to your own personal growth. So, I mean, I just kind of want to give like a feedback to people. It's just like taking a look at yourself and seeing how you can grow, how you can water the seed, because you may have that seed. You may have a seed planted in the ground already,
right?
But you don't know how to get the water.
Right. That's why you have to, like you said, reach out to the people that are more experienced than you,
right,
or older or whatever, and get that knowledge that you need to proceed on.
Yeah.
Because it has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's where it would start, is with a conversation with someone that knows more than you about a certain situation.
And even if you feel like if you had a conversation, and I just challenge you, have a conversation with someone. I mean,
I think number
because
one,
then you can look at it too.
Like you said, have a conversation with yourself.
Yes.
You have to acknowledge that you don't know everything.
Right.
And I think it starts there.
It starts there.
You have to acknowledge that
you don't know everything.
I don't know everything. I don't have it all. I don't know it all. And then go on from there.
Because the way that I'm looking at it now, and I'm even, as we're talking about this, I'm even seeing more that I can use personally. It's because, like, and I love analogies, and I don't know why, but I love analogies because I'm a visual person, and I have to, like, draw a picture in my head. But right. I'm thinking about a plant, like a seed. So whenever you plant a seed into the ground, you have to water. If you ain't got no water around, your plant is not going to prosper. Your plant is not going to grow.
Right.
But you know what? Go to somebody, because you've already planted that seed. You already have it in the ground. You've dug your hole. You have the seed in the ground. You ain't got no water you're looking for. So you're going to go out and looking for it. You know what? So somebody might give you some shit. Somebody might give you some poop and some fertilizer. But you know what? That will actually still help it grow.
Right.
When you find the water, when you find that last piece, it'll sprout up just like that.
Just like that.
So it doesn't matter. So don't ever look at it like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, so let me move on to the next person. Or you don't know. You can always use a bit and piece of something that somebody has given you and take it, and it will still work for your good.
Right.
I'm preaching to myself in here.
I mean, that's true, though. I mean, they may not have everything, but they may give you something. And like you said, it might be a negative situation, but you can still take something from that.
They might be a negative person.
They may be a negative person, but you can still take something from that and be like,
Let me.
You can look at that person and say, wait a minute. Am I that person? Am I that negative person?
Right.
Am I a reflection of what I just experienced?
Ooh.
And that'll help you grow in that area.
I'm gonna need a cast on my toes in a minute.
I mean that's true.
That's true. It's
because
very true.
A lot of times we encounter people that are reflection of ourselves, and we don't like those people, and we are like, ooh.
All because I don't like what I see on the outside.
Right.
I'm not gonna value what they got on the inside.
And then after you think about it, that person is really you. It's just a reflection of yourself.
Dang.
And a lot of times we ignore that, or we ignore those people, or we don't like those people because that's us.
My.
And it's a hard pill to swallow.
It's a hard pill to swallow.
Because you like, oh, but wait a minute.
A hard lesson.
I don't like that person. This person did this, and that person did that.
Because you're petty.
And you're petty, but that person is you.
Dedrick.
that person
Sit
is
down.
you.
Be humble.
Look, listen, and learn. So, but I mean, it's all about growth. And I feel like there are, but as far as like growth, what are like 5 things let's just say the top 5 things that people are most afraid of about growing older? Because it's like you talked about in the beginning.
I'm so stuck on this.
Because
my youthful features.
Right. You said you had a gray hair. So what? So what's your top? What's your?
Well, mine is okay. So physical or youthful physical features.
Okay. Would that be your top one?
To show growth.
I'm just like growing older. Not
growing older. That's the first one. Yeah, looks are the first to go.
Ooh, but not necessarily.
To me,
I know. Look at Angela Bassett or what's the lady from They're like 60 and they look great. I mean,
Cynthia Bailey.
Cynthia Bailey just turned up 50. Cynthia Bailey.
Yeah, she just turned 50, I think.
I mean, they look amazing. They're
Dime piece.
They're not losing their look.
Peter. Listen, when I see you in Charlotte, I'm gonna slap you. Okay, no, I'm really not gonna slap you. No, I ain't trying to be like Matt. Woo, Lord.
But I think the number one thing for me would be strength, or like losing my physical strength and not being able to do things on my own. I think that would be one of the things that I'm afraid of as growing older.
Okay, is
not being able to do things on my own.
I can see that. Well, I mean, like, so mine is mental. Like, you know, one of my other will be mental.
Okay.
So youthfulness, the mental.
Okay.
Strength would be one of mine. I would be afraid because, you know, like, it's kind of like life is a crazy cycle because it's like you go from being dependent to be independent and then you go back to being dependent again. Right. And I'm experiencing that. Like, you know, my parents, my real parents are old. Jeez. These geezers. Old. So it's like, you know, I watched them how they have gone back to, you know, I used to have to depend on them as I was a kid because they were so independent. They were adults. They were the parents. And now it's like looking at them and they have become so dependent on
their children.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you go through that cycle and it's like, you know, I'm going to be there one day. If the Lord will, I'll be back to where I will be dependent. So I'm going to lose my independence.
Right. That's one. That's
so, you know, losing my mind and my independence and my physical features. I mean, give me one, Lord. Like, let me keep one. Like, at least let me look good while I'm looking while I'm crazy. I mean, at least, you know, since I done walked out the house and I'm walking down Beatty's Ford, don't know where I am. At least let me look good.
I think one of the major ones for men especially is like impotence.
Oh.
I think boop. I think that's definitely like I think that would be like the top one for men from a male perspective.
A male perspective, yeah.
Like losing that.
Well, I mean, so women would get that, you know, because I mean they're faced with that, you know, when they're mid 40s, 50s, or what have you, where that they start getting them. They hit that pause button, and it's like. This is really, I'm getting old. Right. Because, you know, I mean, my sister, you know, she has dealt with it. You know, I have older friends that have dealt with it. They've gone through the pause phase and just like, and every time I see them, they got a fan with them. And I'm like, what? You got an ice pack, you got a fan. Like, I mean, but it's like, you know, okay, well, this is a part of life that shows that I'm getting older.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, luckily...
That's something that I guess for women,
right.
For women on the women's side, I guess like menopause would be...
Right. So for a male side, it would be, you know, impotence. But, you know, so for both sides, you have something that shows that you're getting older. I think that's so it's just like, you know, those are some things, you know, that show the inevitable growth. And
physical growth.
Mental, you know, and, you know, just... But most importantly, the mental of it all is the maturity growth. The mature will take you so far in life because
that's the most important, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it will help you establish different relationships or establish longevity within those relationships and friendships and. It will show your true personality. It will show who you really are because sometimes people have these anchors that dock them in certain parts of their life.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, I know that this is not where you belong. You don't belong out here, in the middle of the sea, not able to go anywhere.
Right. So they get so lost
because you get lost in yourself.
And get stuck.
So, you know, sometimes just rely on a God. Look at, you know, find your lighthouse. Ooh, it is a lighthouse that shines. Oh, sorry. But yeah, find your lighthouse. You don't have to be anchored where you are.
Nope.
You can be guided to where you need to go. You don't have to be anchored where you are. But allow a lighthouse to guide you where you need to go. And that is what I call, my friends, growth.
Right. That's growth.
Well,
that is growth.
So, does that growth mean that pimple on your head?
Oh, yes. Because I think I'm back in puberty again.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
But anyway. Yes. We're going to thank our listeners for tuning in today. And if you take a moment, I want you to go out, make sure that you subscribe to the Be Unstoppable channel, and also take a moment and listen to some of our other sister and brother shows out there. We have The Countdown, we have Code Red, and we have The Imprint. We have Conversations with the Dreamer. So if you just take a moment, I almost forgot.
Oh, Lord. Cookie.
She would kill me. She would kill me.
Hey, Cookie, he did it. I didn't do it.
That was me.
Real Talk with Cookie.
I almost forgot. Yeah, Real Talk with Cookie. Check all of those out. And again, this is Jon Jon and
Dedge.
And this is Speaking
of. Thanks for tuning in to the Be Unstoppable podcast channel. This has been an episode of Speaking of. Please go on and subscribe via iTunes, SoundCloud, and or Speaker. And also follow us at Speaking of Show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.